We're talking with Dr. Seamus Riley, president of Carl Sandburg College. I want to touch on a couple of things. We're talking about dual credit, and I know it's very popular, and it's a good program for those kids. Are does not every student, or is not every student able to do that though? That's taking on quite a commitment to take your high school classes, plus also working college classes too. Is that something every student is available to do? Does every student have that ability?
Well, they have to be able to test into the college level. So
how do you determine you are
Sure.
eligible to do that?
So they would basically be testing in at the college level, writing and reading.
Gotcha.
So basically the English 101 equivalent. So dual credit courses are only college level courses. So we don't have any developmental English or math. So for example, you couldn't take the English 99, which is below the English 101. You have to be at the English 101 level. Frankly, most of our students are in the district seem to be in pretty well prepared coming into that. As far as balancing the load, I mean, the advantage is that it combines the dual credit, the high school credit rather, with the college credit, so it fills out the day. So they're not taking 8 hours of high school and then additional credit
Right.
on top. It's blended, which means it's efficient, it's economical.
Yeah.
It means to complete both things at the same time. As far as, what I'm interested in trying to do is provide other opportunities for our students who are not necessarily interested in the college transfer. In other words, most of our students who take dual credit would be in a transfer level program. I'm also interested in opportunities for students who are not necessarily interested in credit, but are interested in other sort of workforce programs. So, for example, we have a certified nursing assistant program here in the branch campus here at Carthage. And that's for students who are interested in going in the health careers. Now, ultimately, they'll end up hopefully in the college level, because in the health professions, you're going to start off and then go back and get other qualifications. So the certified nursing assistant is a great opportunity for our students, first of all, to get a sense of whether or not they're interested in this as a particular career. The basic certified nursing assistant program certainly provides you clinical experience in nursing, but it also gives you good experience about working with people. So you might say, take a CNA, but think, you know what, I'd really like to go into elementary education. Yeah. I really want to help people, or I want to go into social work. So it sort of gives the students a good base. And that's an opportunity for a student who can come out of high school with a CNA completion, and then go on and start work right here at Unity Hospital. And that's part of what we're trying to sort of do that. Similarly, we want to try to introduce more on the welding side, more on the automotive side, which we have at Hamilton. And we've introduced also now some agriculture classes, because we've got a new, some ag certificate and ag working towards an ag degree class for transfer, but basically to give these students some access to basic agricultural classes on the science side and technology side around crop science. And then automotive, of course, because not necessarily that everybody's going to be working in an automotive shop, but it gives these students some hands-on technical, tactile skills, which are applicable lots of ways. So let's say, for example, you take the automotive class over at Hamilton and you really like it. Well, maybe that leads on to a diesel program, or maybe it leads on to a program in manufacturing. But it's giving these students some experience, some real life training that they can use right away. And maybe it's also a foundation stone for the other things they want to do.
The ag classes, are those only in Hamilton or Carthage as well?
We have them in right now, it's only in Hamilton. This is a brand new program. We're just sort of expanding even over in Galesburg. And so part of the idea is to sort of focus on an application of the sort of the science aspect of agriculture and truly in the crop sciences way, because the technology and science pieces are really what are driving agriculture right now. And so we're hoping to really expand that, because obviously we live in a major agricultural part of the state. Illinois, for whatever reason, agriculture always seems, even though it's the biggest industry in the state, it always seems to be second best. And so we're trying to figure ways in which we can support that, because we have a lot of students who are from farming backgrounds or from farming families, and or are connected with the industries around agriculture. And those skills come in very useful, whether you're working with a grain company or an elevator, or whether you're selling seed, or whether you're working at Martin Sullivan. I mean, these are all sort of kind of knowledge bases which come in useful. And again, we're not trying to say you got to do this class and then you're limited. We're trying to say, like, here's a set of skills that you can acquire, and then maybe those are good for you in lots of different ways.
And the ag field covers such a wide variety of things.
It's incredible. And, one of the things that as the field continues to grow and expand, certainly on the science side, and we've seen all of the various different ways in which the seeds are genetically modified, and the way in which we have precision agriculture with very limited application of resources because resources are so expensive. But now we're into food security.
Yeah.
And making sure that we have enough food, that we have good distribution of it, that it's safe, that we know the food we're consuming is safe. And so suddenly all of those sort of other pieces that we never thought of are suddenly hugely important.
Yeah. It seemed like for a while, this has been quite a while back, we saw a time when it didn't matter if you had a college degree, you still couldn't get a job. And now I think we see it just the opposite. Yes, you do need that college degree.
Well, I think there's two things. One is we have a lot of people who are employed, but I think increasingly people are looking for that college credential. And some of it is proof that you've been able to master a variety of skills and that you've got some critical thinking skills. The most important pieces for our students and the things that we try to embed in all of our classes are, work ethic, showing up every day, doing the best that you can.
Things we take for common, really.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think probably our parents were saying the same things about us when we were kids, if we're honest, right? So, but I think I just look at if you take any sort of field, even the field of radio. I mean, you look at the way in which that has changed so much. The technology has changed so much. There's so many more things that you're expected to do in the position now compared to, you could have come and worked as an engineer and you would have sat and that was it. Or you could have come and been a radio announcer and that was it. But now there's a variety of different personnel and public skills and marketing and sales and all kinds of things which are connected. And I think you're going to continue to see people get that base degree because of the critical thinking aspect, because of the other sort of problem solving pieces that we want people to do, and because there's a multiplicity of tasks, and also as the technology changes in every job. And that's, I think, been the big change, right? I mean, so for years you could have said, like, okay, farming hasn't changed much in a decade, or radio hasn't changed much in a decade, but then suddenly about 25, 30 years ago, it really started changing, and we continue to see those changes much more rapidly now. Last year I did a strategic planning session for the college, and I said, like, go back 50 years, go back 25 years, go back 10 years. 10, 15 years ago, not everybody had a cell phone. I mean, the notion that everybody could have a smartphone, that everybody could access the internet in their house, and that wasn't necessarily everybody. And now it is. Yeah.
One final thing I want to go back to, we touched on technology in the classroom. Is virtual technology, or is virtual reality now part of the classroom setting as well?
One of the really interesting things that's happening, we have a couple of virtual reality companies in our district, and we had some early sort of experimentation with it. We gave it to faculty and said, hey, go see what you can do with this. We have a really brilliant woman, Cindy Arthur, in our faculty training center. And I was not quite sure, to be honest with you. I could see that it was a really important technology, but I really couldn't see the application of it. And then, we gave it to our speech teacher. And the speech teacher found this program which basically allows you to give a speech using the Oculus glasses, pick any environment you want to give the speech in. It records your speech. It gives you feedback live when you're making the speech. So if you're not looking left or right, it prompts you. It tells you if you're using too many filler words. The student gets to see that right back. They can see exactly what they're doing or not doing and correct it. Our criminal justice teachers decided, hey, I can use this in criminal justice. I can create a virtual reality so I can train my students how to walk down the street. And so suddenly, like, because the faculty got engaged and because the faculty got creative and began to think about the application, now suddenly we have these opportunities where we're beginning to see all kinds of usage that we never thought possible. I would say that virtual reality is probably going to transform our classrooms, because if I can take a student into an actual streetscape as a criminal justice, and I can walk them down a crime scene, and they can actually go in and sort of pick up things and look at them, I am actually giving them a simulation of what the real world is. we've had that on the health side for a little bit with simulation pieces. I just think the way in which everybody experiences the world now, with so many people for fun playing virtual reality or getting so much of their experience through a simulation, I think it's brilliant. I mean, and I think I'm really excited to see what our faculty can come up with, and then by extension, how does that transfer into the work world, right? So whether you're over working in a building a CNC machine, or you're working in an environment to fix a piece of machinery from a distance, I really think it's going to be something exciting for our students.
A lot of possibilities out there.
There are a number of possibilities, and both on the therapeutic side as well. We talked earlier about telemedicine. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that people who are put in a simulated environment for, say, for example, mental health, that there are some really good positive outcomes now, because you're able to really put people in that experience and have them go through it and control the experience, which is very, very powerful.
Yeah. But to wrap things up, Dr. Riley, thank you very much.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.